Welcome to the Army Empire Podcast, your go-to podcast for insightful tips on investment strategies, entrepreneurship, and all things money matters. Join Bernard Alerte, your guide on this journey to financial freedom. Each episode will dive into expert advice, practical strategies, and inspiring stories to help you take control of your financial future. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned investor, we've got something for everyone. So get ready to unlock your financial potential and make your money work for you. And now, let's welcome your host, Bernard Alerte.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm good. Coach, how are you doing?
Excited to be here.
Are we ready for another episode, another program, another lesson?
Yes, absolutely. Officially episode 60.
Isn't that wild?
Yes, it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
What are we talking about today?
We're talking about mutual funds, right? We're talking about, people ask me all the time, what are mutual funds? I mean, how's that work? And I think we've done a lot of episodes on investing, power of mutual fund, but we want to go and spend a little bit more time in that, so people show people different numbers, have different ideas how it works, explain more detail, because we usually within a bigger context explain what a mutual fund is, maybe a couple of minutes, 4 or 5 minutes, but we don't spend at least a whole show on that, talk about mutual funds. And it's crazy because first time I heard mutual fund, I had no idea what a mutual fund was. And first time I heard mutual fund was, I was like 23 years old, 24 years old. And being young, I thought mutual fund is something you have with your girlfriend on Saturday night or something. I didn't know what mutual fund actually was, right? So
right.
That's what I saw. So when I heard mutual fund, how that worked, and once I started understanding, it made so much more sense. And it really, when I saw the power of it, and the whole thing, I was thinking about, how come more people don't even know about it? How most people don't even have a mutual fund. If you think about one out of 4 people have a mutual fund, and 3 out of 4 don't even know how to get one. How does that work?
Yeah.
That's the craziest part.
And that's what you're going to teach us today. Yes,
teach my mutual fund to get people more comfortable about mutual funds so they understand how they work. And so they can have clarity. You know, they can actually, we wouldn't have episode. Let's say if someone said, I don't know how mutual funds work, and someone can send that episode to them. Listen, here's how mutual funds work. Here's what mutual funds actually are. So we wanted to have that episode so people can really understand, have clarity with that.
Right. Excellent. So we're excited about this.
Absolutely. So let's take a look at it. If you look at the first slide, right? There's 3 things that affect our money: is taxation, inflation, and market fluctuation, right? But let's talk about inflation aspect of it. This is how most people save, right? See, most people, we tell, where you save, you put your money in the bank, right? Because think about it, but the challenge is, are you earning a guaranteed loss? The reason people put their money in the bank is they feel it's safe to put your money in the bank, right? But they don't realize how much is actually affecting you in so many ways when you put all your money in the bank. Yes, you need to have your money in the bank for a certain day-to-day activity, like emergency fund, day-to-day expenses that we all have, 100%. But is it where you're going to save your money and earn a return? The answer is no. Okay, let's take a look at it. You earn interest. Think about it. If someone has $10,000 deposited in a bank and you're earning 1.5% interest, which is what banks give you, sometimes even less, right? At your local bank. Let's take a look at it. So that year you made $150 that year, okay, in interest, or whopping $150, right? Now you pay about because a lot of times when you have your money, when you earn interest, they give you like a 1099 sometimes at the end of the year, right? So guess what happens? At 1099, you earn about 30. So let's say if you had a 22% tax bracket, 10 to 20% tax bracket, you're gonna pay $33 in tax on that alone. So your actual earnings is $117. So your resulting balance would be $110,117. But let's say inflation. If you look at past couple of years, inflation was kind of high, especially about a year and a half ago. So inflation about 5% a year. So your buying power, we reduce it to $96.35. So your actually buying power will be $96.35. So actually you earn the value of money because of inflation dropped down to $96.35. So you actually lost money. You actually lost $400 in buying power.
Wild
money. So that's never underestimate inflation risk. Remember, the key is to what your money can buy.
Right.
Okay?
And you've taught us a lot about the inflations and the factors of inflation when it comes to our money.
Exactly. Right. So if you look at the next slide, if you think about it, right? See, we teach people become an owner. Is it better to own something or to loan something? Everybody say it was better to own, right? It's better to own your house, own your car. It's better to own your income. So it's also better to own your money. Okay.
Right.
So become an owner, not a loaner. Here's what happens. Here's what most of us do. Most of us put our money in the banks, right?
Mhm.
So let's say the banks usually pay a low interest on that customer's deposit, right? Then they lend them money. See, when you put your money in the bank, they don't let it sit there with your name on it. They actually take your money and invest in your money, right? Liz puts her money in the bank. The bank says, thank you, Liz, for the deposit. We're not going to keep that money there. We are going to lend that money and invest that money, lend that money out to other people, or lend it back to you and charge you interest, or invest that money. So if you think about it, most put the money in the banks, the loan, see that money and invest directly in the American economy or in the economy, right? Now the bank is gaining a higher interest rate on its investment. And it's happy to pay your low interest rates for the use of your money. So they know, see, when you put your money in the bank, they know like 1.5%. Why can they guarantee 1.5%? Because they know they can get 10, 15, 20% on your money. They know that you do it. So guess what? So because of that, they don't mind guarantee 1.5%. They don't mind guarantee 2%, right? So what you're actually doing, you are lending your money to the bank and they are making a profit on your money. You are lending your money to the bank. This is what you are lending your money to the bank, and they're making a profit on your money, right? So we teach people become an owner, not a loaner. So this is your money. You want to bypass the middleman, bypass the middleman, and you have your money working directly in the global economy. See, that's how you become an owner, not a loaner. So invest your money directly in the American economy, so you can have your money working for you. Okay.
So smart. So smart. Listen, I hope y'all taking notes. I see a few of us jumping on. Thank you so much for watching, whether you're watching on any of the platforms. This is really good. So bypassing the middleman and investing directly in
the American economy. Exactly. Global economy. It's just global economy. Okay. In other words. So let's take a look at the next slide, right? And actual returns. See, the same growth of a $10,000 investment return. Let me show you the difference what happened, right? If you look at the bottom, use of inflation is about 2.5%. So there's something from December 31st, 1994 to December 31st, 2024. Let's look at a 30-year time frame, right? Let's take a look at it. So for example, US inflation averaged about 2.5% during that whole time period yearly. So guess what happened? So that cost of money of $10,000, you have to 21,000 will buy what $10,000 earns back then, right? 30-day treasury bills 2.34%. This you see the numbers. Bonds 4.17%, so at 34,000. But look what happened. The S&P 500, which is actually the American global economy, earned during that time frame average about 10.92% rate of return. So the S&P 500, which is a Standard & Poor's 500, averaged almost 11% during that time frame. It's not 11% total. That means average 11% per year. Now, it's not like 10.9 every single year. You just average it out, right? And we're going to talk about that. So that same amount of money you would have over 224,000 for the same time frame.
Crazy.
Which is what the banks do. This is what the banks do. So even if the banks charge you 2.5%, give you 2.5% on your money, guess what happened? They would have made 224,000. So they actually made $200,000 on your money during the same time frame. So the key is we need to have, how do I get the money working for me? You work hard for your money. So the key is to have your money work hard for you, right? Which is we're going to talk about how that works, right? So let's take a look at the next slide, right? What is actual, if you look at a stock, right? What is a stock? A stock equals one company. And let's say you Starbucks. So the stock can go up, you buy share stock, it can go down. So it's one stock. It can go up, it can go down. The reason people are kind of nervous about a stock, or what if the stock crash? What if the thing crashes? Yes, that is a risk. So when you invest money in a stock, you can make money in a stock, but also something goes wrong, you lose your money too. Have you seen that happen time and time again over over time. So that's the fear that people have because you're investing in one company. And I understand 100% why that's a big fear that people have. So let's take a look at the next one. What is actually a mutual fund? Mutual funds are investments that are professionally managed. What investors do, investors put their money in a variety of stocks, not just one company, in a variety of stocks, bonds, short-term money markets, instruments, and other securities investments. See, mutual funds invest in well-known companies with familiar brands and products. So a typical mutual fund owns more than 150 stocks on average. So a mutual fund actually owns 150 plus. So you see Starbucks, it owns 150 companies just like that. And what does that do? That causes diversification. So let's look at the next slide, right? What is a mutual fund? Let's talk about stock companies, 30 to 100 companies. Since 1924, average about 9 to 12%. So a mutual fund could actually own McDonald's, right? If you look at a little window, right? There's Coca-Cola, right? There's McDonald's, Visa, BP. You got all these companies, Chase, right? Apple, Bank of America. So a mutual fund, some could own a lot of these companies, and not like by percentage. It might be on like 2% or 1% of these companies. So it's not like a huge amount, right? What are some things we always teach people? Never put your eggs in one basket.
Correct.
Yes. And the mutual fund has a money manager or his team. And their job, Liz, is to make sure to look at all those 150 stocks that are within the mutual fund and make sure they're performing the right way. They research the companies. They have meetings with the board of directors of these companies. So they look at what's happening in the market. So their goal is they want to, they move which company. Say, okay, this company, for example, this stock has Pepsi and Coca. So let's say Coca-Cola might go down, the stock might go up, but Pepsi might go up. So it balances each other out. So they have all these different companies, and their job is to make sure and move companies, or this company's not doing good, let's move it. So it doesn't affect anything. It's like the way you got to look at it, the analogy I like to look, let's say if you have two windows, and you have one window as just one piece of glass, right? And the other window has, let's say, 24 different little squares of glass. If I throw a rock and I throw out that other window and it breaks the window, guess what happens? I have to replace the whole window.
Correct.
I have to place the whole window. But if you have a little window that like little 24 window squares, if I just throw a rock, it hits that one window square, I don't replace the whole grid. I just replace what? That one little window. Makes sense?
That makes sense.
That makes sense. That's why a mutual fund works, because there's a lot of companies put together, right? And again, you have diversification, you have professional money manager, research analysts, and mutual funds are liquid also, that you can actually take your money at any time a lot of times, right?
Yeah.
What's mutual funds for? Retirement, college, emergency fund, right? All these different aspects. Okay.
So good. This is a really good slide. And I love how you gave us the example of the window. And if just one part of the window, the grid breaks, then they just add a new window, which is a new company. I love that.
Exactly. So that's why it's so important for people to understand, right? And the next slide is almost the same thing we talked about. See, mutual funds are an effective way for long-term vehicles, right? Because individual investor, just to show you the graphic again, professional money managed, and I have a lot of examples like Procter & Gamble, all these different companies put together. They're different industries. So some mutual funds focus on one type of industry, but most mutual funds, the ones, have different industries put together. So it might be technology, it might be different things. So it's a lot of different industries put together. So let's say one industry, the medical industry might go up, or the financial industry is going down. So it's always different industries put together, different companies around different industries. So guess what happens? You're never tied into one kind of industry. Makes sense? So let's say in early 2000, right? There was the dot-com bubble, right? When a lot of internet companies, a lot of technology roof in the early 1990s, right? And guess what happened? There was mutual funds that were focused on technology industry, and a lot of mutual funds did very well for a period of time. They were averaging really big returns. But guess what happens when the technology was a tech bubble? Guess what happened? Those mutual funds went down also. So the goal is you have mutual funds that have all different industries put together.
Yeah.
Makes sense. That makes a big difference, right? So what is actually the performances of mutual funds over a period of time? Let's take a look at it. And to let people know comfortable, right? So investing long term is very important. Why are mutual funds great for investing long term? Let's take a look at it, right? So historically, the market has rewarded patient long term investing, right? With more positive years than negative years. Let's look at the record over a period of time. So let's look at from 1940 now, which is a long time. Most people were not alive in the 1940s, right? From 1940 to 2024. So the mutual funds been around for a long, long period of time.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at it. For every 1 year period, right? So for example, what they looked at, for example, is how can I say that? From 1940 to 1941, 1941, 1942. So 1 year time frame, 1942, right? Different 1 year time frame, right?
Correct.
We had 66 positive periods in the market and 19 negative periods.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have made money 66 times versus 19 negative periods. That's a great odds if you ask me, even on a 1 year time frame. Right? So if you look at 3 year time frames, so what are looking at 3 year time so people can see, right? Let's say for what they've done, they look at the numbers from 1940 to 1943, right? And 1941 to 1944, 1940. So they look at every different 3 year time frames.
So interesting.
And here's what they found. We had 74 positive periods and only 9 negative periods for all those 3 year time frames, right? Right. So if you let's look at 5 year periods, right? Same thing, 1940, 1945, 41, 40. You guys see the math. So people can see what they've done. 74 positive periods, 7 negative periods.
Wild.
Right. And 10 year time frame, right? That means, for let's say they look from 1940 to 1950, 41 to 51, 42, 50. They look at every different time frame. 74 positive periods and 2 negative periods. So you would have made money like for a 10-year time frame. That's why people say, can I lose money? If you invest 10 years, I said pretty much the odds are very strong in your favor.
Correct.
And for every 20-year time frame, 0 negative periods.
Wild.
0 negative for 20-year time frames.
So good to know.
So from 1940 to 1960, 41 to 61, they look all the way up in 2024, there have been 0 negative periods. So in the market, so people say, well, yeah, pretty much. There's risk. We want to make sure past performance, no guarantee future performance. We have to disclose that, right? But for those year time frames, pretty much, you're good. You can you can pretty much say, hey, if I invest, mutual funds is a great way to invest money long term.
And when somebody does say, okay, so are there any risks? What is the reply to that?
Yes, there are risks. It fluctuates a little bit, of course.
Like in everything.
For a long time frame. Yes, if you tell me invest for 1 year, like listen, if someone tells me, I want to invest money for 1 year or 2 years, like no, I wouldn't do that. If you invest 1 year, 2 year, yes, you can have a good year, make money, but I can't promise you, I can't guarantee you that you're gonna do that because it fluctuates a lot. But long term, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, I love that. I love that comment. Yes, the risks are there, but long-term rewards are there.
Yeah, also, right? And I'm gonna look at different scenario. Look at the next scenario, right? So I'm gonna go very technical with this, right? We talk about investing your heads, not your headlines, right? If you look at that slide, right, from 1994, right? Think about all the headlines we had during that time. I can't really see right, because I'm getting older, so I can't really see it. Think about all these different. You guys can read it. All the different headlines that's happening every year. That's been something. That's been something happening every single year. Some maybe like a headline that caused maybe the market go down a little bit, or risk or anything like. Every year from 1990 there was something. But guess what happened? The market's average 10.92%. So this shows the actual numbers from December 3rd, 1994 to 2024. You see numbers? Look at the trajectory. Right? It has a little fluctuations. You see that, right? But it's gone up. It's gone up.
Yep.
Big difference, right? Which is important. So people can see those numbers, right? And this is, I'm going to show you the next slide. Might be a little complicated, but it's actually very, very simple. If you look at the next slide, it tells you the returns. Invest your head, not your headlines, right? Since 1995, it showed you the returns, right? The total personal return market. If you look at 1995, 37%, 22, 33, 28, it dropped. See, if you look at from 1995 to 2024, if you look at negative years, there's 3, 5, 6 negative years, maybe.
Yeah.
6 negative years, right? But all of them were pretty much positive during that time frame. Some were positive by a lot. The only time we had negative was 2008 with the financial crisis. It went down 37%. But if you look at the next year, it went up 26%. 2010, 15%. It kept going up during that time frame, right? So what happens if you followed the trend and you took your money out during that time frame? Look how much the returns you would have lost. So that's very important.
Yeah, regardless of the headlines, over time, if you continue to invest, you're gonna make money.
Exactly. So don't focus on headline. There's always gonna be headlines. That's always gonna happen, you know. But like I said, invest with your head, not the headline. The question: are my financial goals changed? The answer is no. Then don't do anything.
Yeah.
Don't make a change, right? And those are actual returns in the market. So when I hear people, oh my gosh, it's risky. I don't like. No, I mean, really, if you think about it, like that's. Listen, if I'm looking at odds where out of 30 times, and I might miss 6 times, but I'm gonna score 24 times. I like those odds.
I'll do it. Yeah, and you can see it here.
Yeah.
There's way more greens than there are the negatives. So
exactly, this is why this is the best way. That's why sometimes I'm gonna go back again when people like this say IUL, they say, "Oh, fear the market." I'm like, you're hurting. See, those are people they use the market because the returns they want to for the clients, they have to use the returns of the market, but they tell people to fear the market at the same time. You can't use the market and fear the market at the same time. I can't tell Liz, you need to be careful because you might fluctuate, lose money, but at the same time, oh, if your money grows, the market does this, your money will get this. That's like they call it oxymoron. It makes no sense, right? But that's what's being talked about out there, which is important for people to know, right? And again, if you look at the next slide, right, and it tells you how diversification is important. You look from 2010, 2024, if you look at different investments, did good during a period of time. Like 2010, small stocks did good. 2011, long-term government bonds did better. And small, if you look at different, right, and it tells you different performance out of each investment. So keys, if you're diversification, you spread out your investment dollars to protect against market risk. So you could have a mutual fund that has all these different things put together that has small stocks, large stocks, and government bonds. So pretty much you're gonna be okay, pretty much. Right?
Yeah.
Like one thing people tell me, listen, one thing I can guarantee about the market is gonna go up, is gonna go down. When it goes up, goes down, we don't really know. But the key is to have certain strategies that, let's say, if market goes up, you can benefit from it. It goes down, you're not going to take that much risk. Makes sense? You minimize the risk that's happening. Okay? So those are things for people to understand, that you spread out your investment dollars. If you have different investment, you're going to be pretty set, right? Time, right? So if you look at the next slide, right? Now, mutual funds earn money 3 ways, right? Number one, dividends. Because guess what happens? If you think about all those 150 companies, right? You're actually investing, the mutual actually investing in these companies. So when these companies give out dividends, that means they make profit, they give it to the stock shareholders. They give money, stock to the shareholders. Guess what happens? If you own a mutual fund, if let's say Amazon gives out dividends to their shareholders, for example, if you're in a mutual fund that happens to have Amazon as one of the as the stocks within that mutual fund, guess what happens? You're also going to benefit from the dividends also. So think about it. Even if a mutual fund goes down a little bit percentage-wise, you can still make money in a mutual fund because you're getting dividends on top of that.
Correct.
So you can still earn money even if the performance over a period of time might not be positive for like a year or 2 years. You still get dividends. and you still make money.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times over a period of time, dividends count almost 30% of the returns. Are you gonna get over a period because you're participating in the market, so you're reaping the benefit, even if you have $50 a month.
Correct.
Earning dividends from it doesn't matter. See, there's people that institutions that have mutual funds where they have millions of dollars invested, sometimes billions of dollars invested in mutual fund. You're gonna get the same dividends if you have $50 a month in a mutual fund. You're gonna same percentage of dividends with someone that has millions. So you're reaping the rewards no matter what. You get capital gains, of course, that you're going to earn money, right? And also capital appreciation, right? Now, again, sometimes if you take money out, if you have a non-qualified account, that's not tax deferred. If you earn money, you might get taxed. You might get like a 1099, okay? If it's in a qualified account because you made money during that time frame. So that's why we'll let people know that should any be earned, you might be subject to taxation, right?
Okay.
If you have a non-qualified account. That means you're gonna, but capital gains tax are not like you're not taxed the same way as let's say income tax.
Okay, got you.
It's not the same way. So let's say income tax, you might be 22% to 30% tax bracket, depends on how you are. But capital gains is a little bit less. You know, I mean, it goes from 5% to 15%, for example, right? And sometimes the high percent is if you're taking money out. Again, if you're taking money out from year to year, then that might happen. Again, consult your tax accountant for that. I'm not a tax attorney. All right. So let people know in advance. But capital gains are less than let's say you're getting W-2 tax, in other words, right?
Got it.
Which is so important. All right, to figure out. So let's take a look. So that's ways doing. Now, if you look at the last slide, right, pretty much. Now, 5 great reasons to own a mutual. We talked about it before, but we're gonna summarize. Number 1 is professionally money management. Your money is managed by professionals, by teams of professionals that their job is to make money. Their job is to make you money. They have access to information that you don't have access to. You can do all the research all you want, try doing your own. They have access to information that you and I don't. They have research teams. They have people that they get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to actually make your money grow, and they get paid a percentage when that mutual fund does very well. They also get a bonus. So their job is to make you money. That's number 1. Second thing is diversification of assets. We showed you different stocks, different industries. You've seen that, all right? Diversification of assets. Third thing, the growth potential. It's the growth potential. There's tremendous growth potential. Okay, we look at the performance period of time. There's a lot of growth potential with them. The fourth one is affordability. You can invest mutual fund for $50 a month. Some mutual funds you can start with $25 a month. I started my first mutual fund. I was 24, 20. I was putting $25 a month away. It's very affordable. You don't need like a bunch of money. You don't need like $10,000 to get started. You don't need $1,000 to get started. You don't need like 20,000 to get 50. You need just $50 a month.
Yeah, and I think that's what people they don't understand that part. Like they don't get it. Then they don't talk to somebody because they think, oh, I need thousands of dollars before I have a conversation with someone.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the great part. And number 5 is liquidity. You can, if you have mutual fund, you want access, you don't need to go to like trouble to get it. You can go online, and if you have access to your account, you cannot transfer money within 1 or 2 business in your account. So it's very liquid at the same time. It's not locked in. Mutual funds are not locked in to the point like, okay, you can't use your money, you can't take your money, anything like that. They don't penalize you when you take your money out in a mutual fund, unless it's like a tax, unless the IRA or something like that is different, right? You take it early, but regular mutual is very liquid that you can actually have access to your money.
Okay, you have access to your money. That's huge. That's huge.
Absolutely. Now, mutual funds are not, like as we said, mutual funds are not guaranteed against loss. I mean, you see the fluctuations a little bit. So that happens, right? And mutual funds also have some costs and fees to it, which is management distribution. So there's management fees. They get a lot of companies, there's a management for sometimes, right? There's a little fees to it. But I can promise you the fees are not the same fees like not even close to what you're gonna get, what you're gonna charge if you put your money in IUL, where they take all your money out and they charge you like 40% surrender fee. Nothing like that. You know, it's very, very, very minimal. But listen, of course, they make mutual funds. They charge you. There's some costs associated with it sometimes. You know, so but it's not. It could be like 1%, 1.5%, 2% a year. It's just something very minimal. Make sense? Over a period of time, it just makes such a huge difference. You know, time. So this is why we want people to understand what mutual funds are. I hope people to help with that, to make people feel comfortable what mutual funds are, so people can see what it entails and how they work, right? And how they need to have mutual funds are part of their retirement at their financial game plan. Yes, exactly. Mutual funds should be part of every person. Every single person should own a mutual fund. Every single person owns a mutual fund. There's not a person out there that should not have a mutual fund, because it's so cost effective. You don't need a lot of money to start, and the potential, the potential for growth, for whether it's for retirement, where you want to buy something in the near future with a couple of years, whether it's for college education or you want to buy a home. No matter what happens, mutual funds should be part of every single person. Every single person financial picture, financial game plan.
That's mutual fund. Love it.
And we're gonna go over different products. Like we're gonna go over maybe next week over annuity, how annuities work, so people can understand how to make annuities part of their. It's not for everyone, but make annuities part of their financial game plan. We talked a little bit about, I think a couple months ago, we had an episode on that. But
so we'll visit that again.
But more specific, how annuities work and how to make it part. Make sure we use it the right way. And I'll do it. Make sure it's used the right way, an effective way, and all that can also be part of someone's great financial game plan too. I
like this comment too, to kind of let the big boys manage it, to manage your mutual funds. And we just watch it grow. And that's so good.
100%. And if people believe it or not, if you ask someone, right, which one you think has grown more, real estate or mutual funds? Or in America, most people say, real estate is definitely, because that's talked about. Let me tell you something. Real estate, average return of real estate growth is about 5-6% a year.
Wild.
Whereas a mutual fund is 10-11%.
Yeah, and this is stuff we don't know.
So everyone, I'm telling you, because it's glamorous. It's like it's oh my God, I'm a real estate investor. And people find, I guess prestige in that I'm a real estate investor, right? Yeah. But people don't realize real estate been averaging about 5%. If you look at 6% a year. And think about all the headaches you have to deal with real estate, costs, all the headaches you have to deal with real estate.
Yeah.
Right? Versus if you invest in money in mutual fund, let it grow a period of time, you'd be better off, and with no maintenance. No maintenance.
So good.
If someone asked me, listen, if I had 100,000, 200,000, would you buy a house and buy a house and try? I'm like, no, let's stay mutual fund, let it grow. Because I have no headaches. I don't have to deal with fixing stuff. I don't have to deal with paying property tax on it. I don't have to deal with tenants if I have to. I don't have to any of that stuff.
Yeah.
I can have the professional money manager make the money, and I'll be set, and I have no headaches. And all I pay is very little capital gains if I need on it, but that's about it.
And that's it.
That's it. So
wild.
People don't realize the power of mutual fund investing, and make it part of every person's financial game plan.
Yeah, that's right, honey. We got our mutual fund. That's right. We got our mutual fund. So listen, we're practicing, we're learning this stuff, but please know that even we here in this household, we're practicing what Bernard is teaching us, and we're implementing the things and getting into the mutual funds, doing the IRAs, saving the money, and doing other things. And I hope that you two are implementing as well, as you continue to learn after every single episode. We're in episode 60. Like this is amazing. There's an archive of of information to learn. And I'm excited about next week because we're going to do annuities, you said, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
So we're talking mutual funds today, annuities next Tuesday. This is going to
Yes,
be great.
exactly. And
Thank
you
you.
have to be licensed to be talked about that. Or a lot of reason people don't talk because you have to be licensed to be able to talk about these things. And that's why some people don't talk about those things because it's they'd
Yeah.
rather talk about the other stuff, if you
Yeah,
understand.
it's out of their comfort zone.
Exactly.
They don't know.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
good. All right, my brother. This was good. Another good one down for the books.
Yes, we're excited.
This is good. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us and for watching and learning with us. We will see you next week. This exact same time, exact same place. Don't miss out on it. And we will see you soon. Thank you, Bernard. Have a good one.
You guys, appreciate you guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Army Empire podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. Join us next week for another exciting edition, and until then, keep building your empire.